Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2 the Elite Mod. Red-Rupee here tonight calling the shots for you as always as we head into this great 2-on-2 match. On the blue team we have Nurland as the Chaos Lord, his ally Mr. Noisy as the Chaos Sorcerer holding his sword up on high there. His opponent Mr187 as the Force Commander, and his ally, the only one not in power armor tonight, Floid, as the Hive Tyrant, already breaking everything on the map. Now this is our first match of Elite Mod 2.3.1, so there's going to be a lot of changes here, a lot of little stuff, a few big things. I'm not going to go into it too much because we're going to have Keltos himself here coming on early next week to talk about basically everything he's been getting into. So, anyways, looking into the game here, we've got double ticks coming down for Nurland. We've got Noisy going for the double Chaos Space Marine build. Mr187 sticking with the one tack right now, and we've got Floid, as usual, bringing on those tricky spore mines early in the match to kind of control those early engagements. Right now, we've got the first battle going on here on Golgotha Depths. This is one of the contested power nodes. Looks like the Sorcerer is narrowly going to escape his own early death right there. Don't want to get incapacitated this early in the game, as we've got Nurland charging into the center against the Tyranid forces. Luckily, he does have the Chaos Lord, who's going to be completely immune to the Spore Mine suppression, so he's going to be able to harass them pretty well, while the rest of his forces kind of kite around and get into that. Noisy stated earlier he didn't want to get double ticks because he doesn't want to bleed a lot. So I guess against Tyranids and Space Marine is kind of tricky to deal with that. Nice kill of the week going off there, bringing the Chaos Lord just about back up to full. Doom Blast going off there, trying to make sure those Spore Mines... Oh! Big explosion, taking out all but a lone model there on retreat. One little Spore Mine pops and a bunch of Heretics flop over. Looks like the red team's taken both of the early skirmishes right here. But he's got some tacks on the run. He's coming out with his second squad now, and some Havocs not far behind. We've got Noise Marines on the way for Nurland. That AoE power is going to be really useful early game against these Tyranids, especially since it looks like we're not going to be seeing any of the bigger warriors coming out here. We've got Raveners on the way for Floyd. I'd be willing to bet 187 here. Yep, he's going for some Assault Space Marines, so we're going to have two jump squads on the field for the red team. And just kind of a lot of beefier stuff, a lot of beefy range damage on the field for the blues. Both of these Heretics still sticking vanilla for the time being. Wouldn't be surprised to see at least one of those go grenade launchers, or maybe at least get an aspiring champion or something along those lines to really kind of bring the hurt here. We've got the Havoc setting up forward of the contested power node. Looks like blues finally getting onto the field here. Might be taking out some VPs on the red team. It's 419 to 500. The Reds have had pretty solid control so far. And it looks like, yeah, those scouts are going to be all right. They're going to be just fine. Havocs catch these tacks here out of position. Those tacks are probably just going to have their retreat. The Assault Space Marines are a little bit far back. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. There's some nice green cover here. Tacks are going to hunker down, buy a little bit of time. And with those Assault Marines there to challenge the Chaos Space Marines, the tacks are going to have no trouble. Floyd looking around up top, trying to make sure that blue doesn't get to hold both of those contested power nodes, lest they fall behind in that tech race. They've got the VP advantage right now, so don't want to fall behind in tech to counter your own advantage. Doom Bolt's going off here on the Assault Space Marines. There's not too much out here to challenge them, although they are a bit lacking on support right now. Those Heretics moving in, getting a Doom Blast off, forces them off completely, and there's two injured squads of Space Marines out here that are the only thing ready to contest. Scouts getting singled out by that Chaos Sorcerer. He is upgraded with the Vestments of the Warp, so obviously we saw him teleporting around right there. Up top we've got a Tyranid advance moving in over here. Hormagaunts going on the back line, all the range forces moving in with the help of the Hive Tyrant. We do have one squad of grenade launcher Heretics ready to bomb the heck out of that choke point and do some nice AoE damage on that big pile. Hive Tyrant going with the improved Synapse. He doesn't need warriors. He's going to increase the health of his squads on his own. no risk of synapse bombs here so long as that Hive Tyrant stays up. Right now, a little quiet on both sides. Chaos Sorcerer is haranguing some attacks, and it looks like we've got a commitment to a battle up top. We've got the first grenade launcher volley going down, but counter initiated by those Raveners, doing a pretty great job here. Noise Marines getting intercepted by that Hive Tyrant before the Raveners get taken out too far. Chaos Heretics look like they're going down. They did have the Aspiring Champion. These Noise Marines might be in a lot of trouble too. This could be a big engagement for Floid and a pretty terrible one for Nurland. Yes, the Noise Marines do go down. That's 2 squads down right there. Looks like maybe even these Chaos Space Marines might be losing a model if he's not careful, but the Chaos Lord ran a little bit of interference there and then retreated himself. A big play there by Floid. Nice counter initiation, and in this little path right here, this retreat is going to go straight up that ramp. Perhaps Nurland could have cut his losses if he maybe fell back down to about here and he would have retreated back the rear ramp there. Anyways, we've got a little bit of support coming in, trying to pick off some of these injured Termagants right now, these 2 squads of Chaos Space Marines. Noisy microing pretty well right here, trying to pull back the injured squad and re-target as necessary. Notice he didn't retreat him right away, just pulled them out of range of those Termagants and then moved them on back in. This blue team contested power node. They've got not quite a full gen farm up, but the node goes right back up anyways, trying to stall out, make sure they can continue that power income while getting the Chaos forces in place to defend that farm. Assault Space Marines looking pretty beat up right here while the Sorcerer starts focusing on these injured Tactical Marines. It seems like so far 187's always been out here with at least 1 injured squad, and it looks like he's going to bleed because of it. 1 tack goes down, 2 right there, and the Assault Marines jumping in. This may be a bad idea right now, but it looks like they might be okay for the time being. Noisy loses his ticks. That was the only thing I was worried about, is if those Assault Marines had to retreat through those ticks, but looks like the Sorcerer has things pretty well under control. Does lose a couple Space Marines to those assaults there, but all things considered, he held pretty reasonably right there, as 3 of our players head into Tier 2. 418 to 424, and the VPs are about even up. Red team looking good with their central gen farm as well. Gonna try to maybe decap this blue one. We'll see. Those Assault Space Marines have precious little time to break down that node before the Chaos reinforcements get back out onto the field. You got a Brood Nest in the center there, reinforcing those Termagants, so Floyd doesn't have to retreat too much. These Raveners looking very beat up, starting to lose models over there. Don't want to do that. They are pretty expensive to reinforce. But I guess he didn't want to completely fall back since he had that Hive node out there. Another engagement. Space Marines on Chaos, the classic matchup. 2 tacks versus 2 Chaos Space Marines. Havoc dropping in the supporting fire. Space Marines looking to bunker up. I think they only lost 1 model there. They might have lost a second. Can't tell until they hop back out of that bunker. Force Commander Terran in there, maybe trying to pick off a Chaos Space Marine, as the Tyranid forces looks like they got a pretty good push on this side of the map. Might have forced a full retreat. Chaos Lord may be going down here to these Hormagaunts. Let's see if they get some good swings in here. Yes, he does go down. Hormagaunts grab themselves a level down on the bottom side of the map. Yep, they only lost a single model. Very fortunate there. We see them retreating, and it looks like, yeah, they're finally going to get a decap, I think, on that power node. Of course, the Sorcerer is there, dropping some Doom Bolts in, doing some nice damage to those Assault Space Marines. They've got a Sarge coming on the field along with the Power Fist. Lots of investment in the current squads on the field. 187's just going for the field presence as opposed to bringing a new squad out. He's just going to upgrade what's already out here. Nice flank coming in from the Tyranid forces, though. Going to make sure that they don't get this power node back very quickly at all. With Nurland down a couple squads, and now his hero, he's still trying to get back into the map. That's been allowing Floyd to gradually move over to this side and really put some pressure on. Oh, unfortunately, one member of this Havoc squad was out there exposed while they were trying to sneak up there under cover of Siege Worship. Both jump squads move in on that, and Noisy properly recognized the threat, hit the retreat button early on, and those guys are going to get out without much issue. Right now we've got all the armies kind of hanging out on this eastern side of the map. The blue team's down by about 100 VPs, but they're looking like they're not in a terrible situation. Despite Nurland's early losses, he's managed to bring it back. He's going for double bloodletters here. That'll be interesting to see. He's going to have to keep that corn worship going if he expects to keep those guys healthy. However, most of the Tyranid forces are arranged, so if he can get the bloodletters and his hero in there to tie most of that up, he's looking pretty good. He's going to have to be careful, of course, of that heavy DPS Gene Stealer brood that's sneaking around in the back there. But so long as he's aware of that, he should be able to engage this pretty well. We've got double plasma on the field along with these assault squads, man. These Saltamarines doing lots of damage right now. Can't spell assault without salt. You can kind of, but you know, it's not the same. Everything's looking pretty beat up though. No healthy squads out here. That's kind of been 187's MO so far. But everything is just charging in here on the natural VP, considering they already have a pretty reasonable advantage. Ooh, nice looking set of Doom Bolts going in there. I think I hear, yeah, the dubstep cannons blasting away up top there. Got that big engagement. Oh my gosh, look at all the fire. I looked away just as the flames came down, apparently. Just because I heard that Blastmaster going off. I get excited when I hear those things firing, man. It's like plasma does. But 252 to 424. Blue team's doing a good job of holding right here. Caused quite a bit of bleed. Didn't manage to take out any squads. Hero might be going down here. But with that Sacred Standard, that might be not a big deal ultimately. That would have been a good spot for him to go down right in the middle of the map with that Sacred Standard, as it will continue to actually increase that buff. Look at this, 3 squads of bloodletters. Noise Marines hanging out here in the center, Librarian coming out, Zoanthrope as well. Red team with a big advantage for the time being. They've been continuing the tech race. They've got the VPs. They took out the contested farm. They've held their own up until this point. Blues might be taking it back, but the Reds are ready to move in and defend in just a few moments here. And bloodletters aplenty. Capillary Tower going down to a quick dubstep blast there. Chaos Lord with the Blood Maul and the Armor of the Inferno. Gonna see some great balls of fire coming off of that Chaos Lord, along with the Sorcerer's Rod of Warp Fire. Everything's kind of moving in here, getting ready for a big assault. You can see the red team's really been doing a good job of moving together so far. Ooh, but those Assault Marines jump out there a little prematurely, taking big damage almost immediately. As soon as they jumped in, they took some Dark Flames from that Rod of Warp Fire, and then a bunch of Focus Fire from Siege Marines. We've got the Zoanthrope and the Blastmaster both trying to get some good shots on the opposing army here. One goes right into that Hive Tyrant, now upgraded with the Warp Field and Venom Cannon. Super tanky. Ooh, here it comes. Great balls of fire. Oh, not so great, actually. Just kind of landing against that terrain. Always unfortunate when you're trying to fire uphill. That high ground, not quite the same kind of advantage as it would be, you know, in StarCraft. You can't even see up there, but it definitely still hinders. It's definitely the ground you want to have in this game as well. Has intrinsic value to be on the high ground. All this melee forcing off everything. You really got to have your Chaos Lord between your army and all that Tyranid melee. Looks like some scouts just perished down on the southern part of the map here. Assault Marines moving in once again, coming in with the big hits, but they're getting focused down really easily. Knockdown from those bloodletters, doing all the damage. Down go the Assault Space Marines in the blink of an eye. Noisy has no qualms about hitting that mass retreat as soon as he gets his big squad kill. And that's going to be a pretty big hindrance for Mr187's army. He's got a great army. Like, he's got these dual plasma attacks. He's got an upgraded Librarian and this decked out Force Commander. But those Assault Marines were really his line breaker. The Force Commander doesn't have his teleport. those Havocs are now going to be a much bigger hurdle to jump at this point without anything to take them out nice and quickly. A little bit of Gen Bash going down over here. These Raveners and Termagants doing some pretty big damage pretty quickly. The blue team's really going to have to fight their way back into this one. Nice Doom Bolts going off there. And this retreat path doesn't look very good for the Tyranids at all. They might be able to tag those Termagants, but it looks like, nope. I spoke too soon. They are down. So that's a nice little victory for the Blues, considering they're looking pretty rough. Floyd's already into Tier 3. He's going to be getting himself something big here shortly. Saving up for a Carnifex or something similar. There it is. There's that Havoc. There's the Doom Bolts, and then a bunch of Siege Fire going in here. Wow. Look at that Rod of Warp Fire doing that damage. That was at least 3 attacks that went down there. I don't know if there were any Sarges. I don't believe there were. But that quickly, a nice and easy route, and not even a cheap one for 187 either. Nice burst damage coming down from Noisy's army. With those Siege Bolters, that Rod of Warp Fire, and the blink of an eye suppression coming off of that Havoc. Gonna have to be very careful how he approaches this. Oh no, the Assault Marines came out, but they might be going down nice and quickly. They're gonna escape for the time being, I think. There are some Bloodletters in the retreat path. Looks like they're gonna get out of there. Just barely, but man, they took a Blastmaster shot, they took the Doom Bolts, they took the Focus Fire. 187 probably definitely questioning his choices at this stage in the game. Man, that Force Wall is such a great ability now that it's a fire and forget. It was definitely questionable before, but now, man, that has secured its place as a top-notch skill. And everything's just kind of chaotic in the center for the time being. I'd venture to say that the Blues are going to hold at this point. All these Bloodletters causing some pretty serious damage. Although the Gene Stealers activating their frenzy, getting nice and healed up. We've got Coin Marines coming in, more Doom Bolts coming down as well. Hive Tyrant has to get the heck out of there. It looks like those Gene Stealers will as well. I think Bloodlust may also have been activated there. I wasn't quite paying attention. But these Coin Marines tearing it up alongside of those Bloodletters and that Worship. Hormagaunts trying to get in here, but they took a point-blank volley of grenades to the face, and they get obliterated on retreat by all of that melee. Assault Marines moving in once again, but I think as we've seen in previous engagements, these guys are just going to get focused down. 187 recognizes that and pulls them out. However, ooh, huge Dark Fire right there. 17 HP, no. No, 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 they go down. That's huge losses for 187. I was, about 5 minutes ago, I would have said the Blues are not likely to win this game, but these past couple quick engagements have been huge. Nurland floating tons of resources, needs to get himself into Tier 3 so he can press this current advantage. Lictor coming out here for Floyd. Decided not to get the Carnifex yet, I suppose. Suddenly down to 3 squads for both of the Reds against a full Chaos contingent for both of the Blues. These demons really showing their worth. Doing that crazy, crazy damage, getting healed up and receiving the energy from the Worship, man. If you can't take them out quick, those Bloodletters are just going to stick around and be a pain in your butt. I like seeing this this Demon Shield, too, from the Demon Armor. With those dual Siege Marines, that's really powerful. Because even with those Plasma Rifles right here on the Tactical Marines, if they sit inside that shield, those Chaos Marines with the Inferno Bolters are going to rip through those tacks without much issue. So a little exchange fire there. The Reds having to destroy their own gens right there finally. 187 recognizing that he can't really attack this head on, so he's going to try to just stall out a little bit, I think, while he gets his army back up to shape and go for a little Ninja Cap to stall the game out a little bit. VPs are starting to even out, though. Heretics worshipping in the back here behind this little crate. That's a good little play right there, making sure that that worship will stay up, keep all of these bloodletters nice and healthy. Attacks under a lot of fire, though. They're going to have to be careful on that retreat. They are moving over. Oh no! They didn't move quite far enough. Wow, and that rod of warp fire, man. That's the second squad that's helped obliterate on retreat. If it hits right, that thing does huge damage. Really been seeing Noisy put that burst damage down between those Siege Marines and that rod of warp fire. You can knock a squad into that volley of fire and then force it to retreat. It's nasty. Look at how quickly those attacks get obliterated. The Force Commander gets in there, but then finds himself with a face full of Havoc fire, has to retreat at the last moment. Carnifex is on the field, getting upgraded with the Thorn back. 187 saying he can't push. Floyd and him are trying to figure out how they're going to approach the center position with everything hidden on one side, everything locked down, two squads of bloodletters on the other with a Blastmaster dubstep cannon over here. 131 to 184. The red team still has time, but it's not looking good for them at all. 187, I mean, this is his full army right here. This is all he's got. That Force Commander with only a squad of ticks and a librarian behind him to back him up. The Carnifex, however, looking like a pretty good situation for that. There's a lot of soft vehicle counters here, but they're like pretty much the whole army is going to really have to focus on that thing to take it out. There's a lot of power melee out here, but there's no heavy melee. There's no snare or hard anti-vehicle. So we've got some Rippers moving into the center. And what? Oh, the Tome of Subjugation taking out those Rippers. Let the Galaxy Burn coming down, followed up by a Blastmaster shot. And oddly enough, that Subjugation actually put a halt to the... That was actually startling enough, I think, to halt the advance of the Tyranid forces. The Tactical Marines took a big Blastmaster shot. They need to be careful. They need to get out of there. 187 can't afford to lose that at this point. Smite going down. Tyranid formation coming up as well. While that Thornback charges on in. Force Barrier going down as well, pretty much stalling out all of Nurland's army, while allowing the Carnifex to get in with a combination of that Tyranid formation and the Force Barrier right there was pretty excellent. Horn Marines in a lot of trouble now on the wrong side of some Gene Stealers that they might be getting out of there. A couple more swings and they won't. Blastmaster in a lot of trouble. Down it goes. Carnifex getting its belly full of Blastmaster. Dubstep tastes good. 17 HP on those Horn Marines, just barely escaping. Sorcerer trying to res his buddy, but not quite doing it. And I'd venture to say that the Reds have gotten themselves back into this game with a well-timed team push there. The Force Barrier, the charge on that Carnifex, and that Tyranid formation was just way too much disruption to deal with at once. And that just about sealed the deal. Man, oh man. I didn't think that push was going to happen, but they made... I mean, obviously the Assault Terminators didn't hurt there. But man, that was pretty excellent. Alright, so... still anyone's game. There is a great unclean one coming out here for Nurland. Noisy has himself a Predator. Those two Tier 3 units are going to be very difficult, even with these Lightning Claw Assault Terminators out here. The VPs are even up. Actually, it looks like Noisy canceled his Predator. On chat, he says he is going to go for a second duo, so... I think a Terminator would have been better, a better threat, or sorry, the Predator would have been a better threat to these Terminators than a second duo, and it would have put a lot more pressure on the Carnifex as well. Carnifex stomping through his own swarm of Rippers right there. Sork does manage to get up his ally. Chaos Lord has to retreat for the time being. But so far, the Reds are still holding strong in the center of the map. Plague Marines coming out here for Nurland. Need something out here to help control this nasty Thornback. That thing is such an impact on the field if you can't deal with it. Lichter's moving in undercover, but it's just standing there. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He's focusing on that sorcerer. He did some sort of weird combat jump right there. Horn Marine's now moving in. Lichter unfortunately has to get out of there, but we've got the Carnifex and the Guo kind of battling it out right here. Oh man, we've got a Doom of Malantai on the field as well, dropping that big paroxysm there in the center. We've got Noisy moving in as well, but this Carnifex still unanswered on the field for the time being. Force barrier going down, trying to make sure nothing gets the decap on that center. VP 134 to 81. There's a Siege Havoc out here as well with the las cannon, so that Carnifex is going to have a lot tougher time moving around in the center. Lichter getting some good damage down here, but he needs to get out of there. If he's not careful, he's going to go down. He doesn't have the combat jump. Down he goes. And it looks like this VP will be changing hands once again. Doom of Malantai doing a good job of hitting some damage down. Lightning Claw Terminator's gonna put some pressure on these Bloodletters that jumped in, trying to take out the Hive Tyrant. Bloodletters can't deal with these Lightning Claws on their own. They have to teleport out of there as they were taking a little too much focus fire from these dual Siege Marines. 81 to 114. And it looks like the Blues have managed to buy themselves some time with that second Guo coming out here. That's a lot of meat to try to hack through here. One Guo is bad enough. Two is really going to be hard to break, even with these great units they have here. Terminator's charging in there with the Veil of Time. I'm not sure that's a great idea. They're very injured, and they're going to be very costly to reinforce if they start losing models. Recognized it at the last moment. All three of them managed to get out of there. Nice Gate of Infinity. That Librarian support so crucial when you've got Terminators on the field. Got a Plasma Dev on the field, but not really in a good position. I mean, with this high ground, the perfect spot is, of course, right up top there. Everyone's all beat up, but trying to stay on the field as the VPs are ticking so perilously low. The confluence of these two great unclean ones, along with their Chaos armies, is gonna be quite a nut to crack. However, it looks like Noisy's just going straight into the back line here with this Guo, just gonna start harassing wherever he can. Oh, he's going right for this Plasma Dev. He's gonna say, you can't set up on the high ground nice and easily. He doesn't even care, he's just sending it on in. There's nothing that 187 has that can deal with that, and he knows it. So he's just gonna start harassing whatever he can. 76 to 81 though. The Reds have maybe one more chance to get this center VP back, or at least get a TCAP down to buy themselves some time. Look at the damage this thing is taking, however. It may have gone back there and harassed and bought some time, but it did take some damage. Lightning Claw Terminators getting ported back into battle. Little bit of gen harass going on for the Bloodletters. No, they recognize there's no point in that at this stage in the game. They're going to move back in. Little subject ace in there, teleporting those Terminators out of position, but the Sorcerer goes down, thus releasing the Terminators and allowing them to turn and open fire on this great unclean one. We've got the Carnifex and everything moving into the center. Some puke goes down from the great unclean one, but it's not enough. These Terminators moving in, they need to get away from that great unclean one though. They're taking a lot of fire from the Bloodletters as well. Oh my gosh. And the Terminators go down. Is the Librarian going to go down as well? There's one lone Bloodletter, but there's a Summoning Circle activated. Some more Bloodletters coming in. That lone one is teleporting up ahead, and he is going to take out the Librarian. Oh, that might be it for the red team. 187 lost his hero. He lost the Terminators. He lost the Librarian, down to just 2 range squads at the moment. But the red team, I may have spoken too soon, the red team does have a triple cap. And despite having a huge army advantage at this stage in the game, I think that might well be it. Noisy's calling frantically for a VP capture. But I don't know if it's going to be enough right here. There's a Lictor just hanging out here waiting for those Terminators to walk away. 20 points with a 2-0 cap. And a Plasma Devastator, a Doom of Melantai, and a Carnifex watching the front of the field here. Terminators are here as well. 12 VPs ticking away, and the Blues are trying frantically. They're throwing everything in there, but as the VPs hit 8, and there's nothing capping the point, and the Plasma Devastators and Cataclysms going off everywhere. So much knockback, so much map control, so much of the blue team losing the game at the last second. Man, the initiative and the advantage went back and forth so many times there. First it was the Blues, then it was the Reds, then it switched back. And despite having a big loss there, 87 managed to stall just long enough. I don't know if that was his intent or it just worked out that way in the long run. But Floyd managed to get everything capped here in the center and locked it out with those last few VPs. Man, when it gets under 100 VPs, if you take your eyes off of those points for just a moment, that's all it takes to lose the game. So Floyd, man, I think he was the MVP that match easily. He really had some big plays there. And we saw some awesome Doom of Melantai play there too, man. We saw the life drain, the paroxysms, and then the big cataclysms going off. That was great. So yeah, a couple things. Like I said, I've got Keltos coming on later this week. We're going to talk about the new patch and all the major changes that went down with that. And he'll tell us hopefully where he's at with the Elite mod and what he's planning on next. Hopefully maybe he'll do a co-cast with me as well if he's got the time. I think that would be pretty sweet. And since it's 2.3.1, all my old replays, all that stuff you sent me, it's all null and void. So send me those new replays. Send me some one-on-ones. I'm putting the request in now. Give me those one-on-ones. I want them. People want to see them. And if you've been frustrated that your replays haven't been getting onto the channel, I guarantee you send me some good 1v1s. They'll make it on here. Guaranteed. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the game. I know I did. Send me your replays. Follow me on Facebook, Steam, Twitter, all the things. YouTube, of course. Hit the subscribe button. Comment. I don't know. All the social media. I can't even keep track of it all. I love hearing from you guys. I love that you guys watch and enjoy. This is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.